educational and motivational here at Clubhouse. Get a better mindset and set your goals here at Clubhouse. Educational things you need to know here at Clubhouse. Like credit, home, buying loans, and much more here at Clubhouse. The space for education, motivation, and inspiration. Clubhouse. The space for education, motivation, and inspiration. Clubhouse.
All right. Hey. Hello, everybody. Hey, y'all. Hey, ladies. How y'all doing?
I'm well.
Y'all don't act like it's Friday. Audience, I hope y'all acting better than these ladies over here. How y'all doing today? Hello, let's try this again. Hello, ladies. How are y'all doing today?
Hey.
Listen, you gonna get the same energy because today Friday.
Right.
Well, we all fake today, boy. I don't know. I think it's this fall weather. I ain't there. Anyway, look, y'all. So welcome to the Home Buyers Clubhouse. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Jessie Lynn. On Wednesdays, we get something motivational, and on Fridays, we get something educational. I am struggling with this intro today. Anyway, look, last week we talked about the lending process, right? We talked about some issues that you may have whenever you purchase a home. So today we're kind of going over into the whole pre-approval process or whatever. We're talking about what's the pre-approval letter. We're talking about the contracts. You know, why does that matter whenever it comes to your real estate contracts, right? So that's what we're talking about today. But before we get started, did y'all know that today is National Dessert Day? Is that what National Dessert Day is today?
Ooh.
What's your favorite dessert? What's y'all favorite dessert? Didn't I tell y'all mine?
Listen,
I'm think about it.
So my favorite is brownies. Like I'm a cake and brownie person. So if you can find me a brownie, I'm good.
Look,
I like cake, cookies, ice cream, all of that. Not much of a pie person, but I like all of it.
So anything with sugar. I love cheesecake because to me, like, I don't like a lot of sweet stuff unless it's like that time of the month. You know, I eat up the whole house then or whatever. But I like cheesecake because it's not too sweet. It's kind of light and I can eat as much as I want without like having a sugar overload. So I love cheesecake. Audience, what's your favorite dessert? It's also National I Love You Day. Ladies, I love you guys. I love you.
We love you back.
National I Love You Day. It's a lot of national days, y'all, but those were like my favorite too. National Dessert Day, National I Love You Day. Yes. So yes, let us know, you guys.
I love pumpkin. I'm a pumpkin head. I love anything pumpkin. So this is my season.
I just started liking it. Maybe it's because I'm old, but I just started liking it. You still don't like it, Nicole? No, I just started.
But everybody always says, they be like, but I like sweet potato. I'm like, but it's not either or. Like, I like both. But now I only get pumpkin like a certain time of the year.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I think my son like pumpkin, but he don't like sweet potato. I don't know how it goes, but I can eat both. So, and I just started eating sweet potato pies and all that stuff. I didn't like that stuff growing up. I was very picky, but now I can eat anything. So I don't know what's going on. As you can see. Anyway.
We are not fooling with you. Okay, we are not fooling with you. When you sit sideways, you look the same. And
Exactly. Look, right, Nicole.
I gain a couple of dimensions when I stand sideways. I ain't thinking about you. You know the sweet potato pie you want.
No, I just wondered sideways. I see it on Facebook a lot. I saw a guy doing it, and that's why it really, it just stood out because he was just like, And he standing straight. I said, why did we do that? Because I know my stuff from the side is there. Like when I was pregnant with my daughter, nobody knew. Really, like I would take pictures on Facebook, nobody knew unless they actually like I had to do this or stand to the side and my belly's like all the way out here, but from the front, you couldn't tell. So it was funny. Anyway, let's get started because I'm short on time today. My daughter has early release, so I got to go pick up at 1:10, child.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about pre-approval, y'all. Pre-approvals. So that's all we talk about. That's the first step. Whenever people call us, we talk about pre-approvals, and people don't understand why we got to do this or whatever. So every month, again, every Friday, we try to give something educational, and we kind of go over and over and over and over again in this whole pre-approval process. Maybe we should kind of do the credit piece one month. Kind of do that and dig deep into that because we do kind of beat this whole home buying process thing, but people still don't know, so it's okay. It is what it is. So anyway, so why is it important for us to get a pre-approval letter? For one, that's the first thing we tell people or whatever. You're doing yourself a disadvantage without having one. And we say that because we don't want you over shopping and we don't want you under shopping. That's the biggest thing. Over shopping and under shopping because you go out here, you find this house and you fall in love with it, and then you can't get it.
You can't get it.
And then say
Well,
what?
I think a lot of times people try to base their mortgage payment on whatever they're paying in rent. But whereas when they're paying rent, they just want you to make 3 times, whatever it is that you're doing. They don't really care about all your other bills. They don't care that you got $1,000 car payment. They don't care about none of that. Do you make 3 times the rent? That's the only thing they're looking at. And they feel like it should be the same with a mortgage. But as part of the whole 2008 housing crash, now there are things in place that you have to make sure that this mortgage is affordable. So it has to meet certain guidelines, and they have to consider everything else that's on your credit report as well in order to make sure that it meets the affordability guidelines. Not what you think you can afford, but what the numbers say you can afford.
But I can afford $2,400 in rent, so I don't know why I can't afford $1,100 house. Y'all need to tell me something.
Well, because with that $2,400 in rent, if you can't pay that, then they're just gonna evict you and keep it pushing. Whereas if you get too many people who can't afford this mortgage that you've given them, now that affects values in the neighborhood, that affects other things that will then have a domino effect. And we don't want to be in that position again. That's the thing about America. We try to learn from our mistakes. So once they were giving everybody loans who said they could afford it, whether they could or not, now you have to meet the affordability guidelines in order to say that you can. It's not just oh, well, I feel like I can pay it, so you should just give it to me.
So, all right. So now let's go back to this whole over shopping and under shopping thing, Nicole. So what's the disadvantage of that? Like, why does that matters? I mean, why does it matter if I overshop? And why doesn't it matter if I undershop? I mean,
from a realtor standpoint,
right?
Yeah, we like to know what you can afford. Because one thing I tell people about us going window shopping without money, when you do fall in love with something that you done walked in this house, it's the perfect thing, that now we're trying to get your approval letter and you can't afford it. Every house that you now search for is going to be set up to that criteria that you can't afford. 9 times out of 10, it makes it stressful now for you because now you can't get the house that's truly that you think you should have. And it becomes stressful for the realtor, your partner that you've partnered in this, because they're trying to find you that $300,000 house for 180.
right. So,
Yeah.
back in the day, in some places, some states or whatever, because when we wrote our book, the Home and Credit Recipe, we tried not to make it specifically for North Carolina. So in there is a step that's basically saying, okay, you find your house or whatever, and then get go see your lender and all of that or whatever. Because some areas that's kind of what they do in a way. But when the market got crazy, you can afford to do that.
No, you couldn't.
So
You don't have
yeah,
the time. If we go to see the house today and our offers are due by 5 p.m., 9 times out of 10, that lender doesn't have time to really truly do what they need to do to get you that letter to be able to make that offer. So now you're really frustrated and you're mad at the wrong person because we were doing things out of order.
yeah. So and even last year, the crazy part is I had some people tell me that like, no, I got the money, I'm good, my credit is good, and all of that or whatever. Cool. Why can't we just go find the house? I find the house and then we get pre-approved. That's why. And like you said, what if we can't get in contact with your lender, your bank, or whatever? And still, you're gonna have to get all these documents because it's not like it used to be back in the day. They can't pre-approve you off of your word or whatever. They gotta actually verify this stuff. Erica.
I think one of the other things too is that most people, they want to talk about what they can afford, and it's not necessarily about what you can afford, it's what someone else is willing to lend you.
Okay.
So as far as us, as as lending institutions, okay, so how much, based on your criteria, how much are we willing to lend you based on what you have? So that's like, I feel like I can afford a $300,000 house, but when you look at my credit profile, somebody's like, nah, all I'm willing to lend you is 240. Well, then that's the house I can buy, is 240 is gonna be my max.
Okay. So look, when we get back from this commercial break, we're going to talk about the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification because a lot of people don't know the difference.
Hi, I'm Jay Monique, the founder of Her Power LLC. We host sisterhood events and have merch and custom cheesecake glasses to support our movement. Please check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Hello, I am Maris Major, owner and operator of Major Cleanup LLC. It's not clean until it's major clean. MCU provides residential cleaning, commercial cleaning, professional organizing, home and space staging. You can find Major Cleanup on Instagram, Facebook, and on the web at mymajorcleanup.com.
All right. So we're back. All right. So what's the difference between this pre-qualification letter and this pre-approval letter? Because look, it's crazy. Some of the stuff that we see buyers go through. Oh, I'm moving ahead of myself. But what is the difference between this pre-approval and this pre-qualification letter?
So pre-qual is generally where they've taken the information, whatever you said that you had on your application, and they're saying, based on what you've told us, this is what we're willing to lend you. Whereas the pre-approval is usually, this is what we have verified that you have told us, and this is how much we're willing to lend you.
Okay, so Nicole, what could you run into if you decide to go out here and buy a house based off of your pre-qualification? What are some of the issues that you could run into, honey?
The biggest one that I see is those tax returns. When we have taken deductions on our tax returns and they have not been verified, that can change the whole scope of what you qualify for. And that's one that I've run into with a couple of clients, or come to find out they hadn't actually submitted one of the year's tax returns. So it's a whole lot of things, but that's the biggest one that I see, is that even with people that are W-2 employees have taken and written off stuff, and it comes back to bite us later.
So what about this overtime? So, and what about the overtime? So how does that work? Because a lot of people, they run with the overtime. How does that work with certain loans, Erica?
Those you have to have proof of overtime for at least 2 years in order to be able to qualify to use that income in order to qualify. And then depending on the program, sometimes they average it out. So say like last year, you were getting 2 hours of overtime a week, but this year you're getting 10 hours of overtime a week. Well, there are some programs where we have to use the 2 hours versus the 10 hours because that's your lowest amount. And it could be that there's just something happening right now. You don't want to bank on that overtime because that's not guaranteed. Now, if you've been getting steady overtime for these 2 years, then we can average that out, figure out what that number is, and then we can add that to your income.
So, and the question was, okay, so how can you getting pre-qualified versus pre-approved, how could that hurt you? And what I've seen a lot is you go on the contract, You get the house, you go into contract, you put up $3, $4, $5,000 in due diligence money, and you lose all of this money because you were pre-qualified. All right, now let's rewind, because I have seen issues where it's very important on the lender that you choose, because some of these lenders, they will pre-approve someone, and then later on down the road, they got overtime. They're a W-2 employee. They're not a self-employed employee. And I have seen issues with self-employed. That's common. It happens a lot. But why is it important on your lender and the type of lender that you choose? Because you're excited. One lender denied you, the next lender approved you, and you're excited, and then you lose this money because you can't use your overtime. What do certain lenders do up front to kind of help that or avoid that?
We get a verification of income. So we already know what it is, that how much income we can use and how much you can't. There's some, I know that there's some real estate agents, they don't want to see a pre-approval from certain mortgage companies, like certain online mortgage companies. They like, nah, you're gonna have to find a local lender, not necessarily, an I lender, those kind of things. Just because, they have to know who is this? Is this a person I can pick up the phone and call and say, hey, Erica, what's the deal with this person? Or just like, I know for people, like I've contacted listing agents to say, hey, I just want to let you know this person I've verified this person's income. I've taken those steps on the back end to make sure that this is a good offer.
Yeah. See, and that's good, because a lot of lenders don't do that. And you're right. With some of these major companies, and I talked about this last week. What they don't even know, like in North Carolina, a lot of states, they don't have due diligence. And some of these major lenders, they don't know what due diligence is. So now they're running around in 15 circles asking for this earnings money, and then they can't figure out why it's not matching up and all this other stuff. And like, we got to explain to them, okay, this is the situation here. This is what's going on, because they don't know. They all don't know. So yeah. All
and
right.
I would just say, let me just say the other thing from a lender's perspective is, when you are talking to your lender, be upfront about whatever it is your situation is. I recently had a situation where the person said they were getting the money from one source, and then it turns out they didn't get it from that source. They got it from somewhere else. And it's like, no, the guidelines say that you can't get it from that person. You can only get it from this bucket over here. So, then that had to be a conversation. But it was just during the conversation, I found out, okay, he originally said, I'm buying this house for myself. Then it was, oh, okay, but I'm really buying this house for my daughter, and I'm not going to live in this house. So now that makes it different. That constitutes mortgage fraud. If you tell us that you're going to live in this house and you're not, then that constitutes mortgage fraud. And then someone can come, as a lender, we can come and say, oh, that $300,000 that we loaned you, we need all of it back now.
And that's the thing. And that's what we talk about here in our book here. Why communication is so important whenever it comes to that, because you need to be honest, y'all, because it's gonna come to light sooner or later. It's gonna come to light. It's gonna come. So don't lie, because they did. I remember I had a client one time, they were buying and selling, right? And the lender, they want to know, why is their brother, like, who's this? Like, who? I can't remember that he had mail coming to their house or something. I don't know what it was, how it was connected, but they needed to know, who was this guy? Yeah, so they're gonna dig. They're gonna dig. I don't know why, but they did. They did. Anyway, so once you are pre-approved, y'all, we got some stuff we need to talk about, because I see this a lot in these groups. And once you go into contract also, because some people, the issue is they don't have enough money to close. Stuff like that happens. But we ain't even that far yet. Once you get pre-approved, what are some things that you should and shouldn't do once you get pre-approved? Nicole, I want to see your neck do this.
Well, it just depends on what we're talking about. But one thing, that once we get that pre-approval letter, don't have anybody, unless you're having a conversation with your realtor or your lender, pull your credit. Let's not start shopping for cars. And if you're going to mortgage shop, be honest about what we're doing. Because we can kind of lay down the guidelines of when it's a good time to do that, if it's necessary to do that, because a lot of times you're just jumping from one lender to another and it's the same product. But one thing I say is, don't apply for anything else. Let's not go co-sign for anybody else. Let's not get the credit pulled for all these new accounts. Please don't do that.
That's the thing, though. I'm pre-approved for a house. I can go get this car. Why
No, but
not?
it's not your house. You don't have a house yet.
Right.
You don't have
My credit
a house
good.
yet.
So it's the house before the car. And I will
That's it.
add to Nicole's list. Do not go out here and buy furniture for your house. I think I've told the story before about my client who we had to clear the close. She went and purchased furniture. The next day, when it was her closing, she could not close because now
Oh,
she's taking out this new line of credit for all this furniture that she was going to have delivered the next day. She could not close.
who was that? Nikki? That was Nikki that said her client. She had to figure that out. Her client went and got the furniture because it's same as cash, but same as cash ain't same as cash, honey.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and it
So
showed up
it's
on her credit.
yeah. So those kind of things, don't quit your job just because even once we get a
Please,
clear to close, do not go in there and quit your job because you feel like,
please
oh, I
don't
got to
quit
clear the
your job.
close now. I can quit. Absolutely not. Do not make any changes without having a conversation with your lender and your real estate officer.
I had one that quit their job and went and got a job through the temp service because they thought that was going to work.
So what? Wow.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
this is what
no.
we have here in the Home and Credit Journal, you guys. Warning, it says, it's in red. It says, do not is in red also. Do not buy any furniture. Do not put anything on your credit card, your charge card, etc. Do not change jobs. Do not lower your working hours. You've seen that before. Do not change your working hours. Yeah, I'm tired. I don't feel like working. Nah, bruh. Keep doing it. Get them 40 hours. Get them 40, get them 40
Please
hours.
don't.
Do not, and I repeat, do not co-sign. Do not co-sign for your man, for your woman, for your cousin, for your uncle, your brother, or nobody. Do not add anyone as an authorized user. Please do not, Lord, do not. And clear to close does not mean close. Do not use any credit until you receive those keys to your home. All right, Erica, you can come on in now. Oh, wait, I ain't done. Make sure you pay your bills on time, y'all. Pay your bills
Mhm.
on time. Continue to pay your bills on time. And lastly, just because you're kicking out a lot of money, you need to make sure you pay your rent on time. And yes, that includes the last month because your lender, they are going to verify, depending on the type of loan you have, before you move. So yeah, wait, contact your lender before you move or deposit large funds. Oh, move money.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
So I would say,
yes.
right. So if you got, a lot of people have businesses and they use Cash App. Cash App is
Mm-hmm.
not a verifiable source of funds. If you're using Zelle, like if you have a little side business and you're using Zelle or you're using PayPal or something like that, that's verifiable. Cash App is not. So if that's something that you have going on, let's have a conversation. Also, do not change the way that you get paid. I've had that as well. A person had the same job, but they switched from a W-2 to a 1099 employee, and that then disqualified them because
Why, Lord?
because now they're getting paid where they have to withhold their own taxes, and that makes them self-employed, even though they were working for the same company. Because they now switched to a contractor, they're now self-employed. So now you don't qualify because you're self-employed.
Y'all, I'm for real. Y'all need to ask these questions. It's the same job as the same company, Lord. But don't, before you make any major moves, any changes, y'all need to, unless you're getting a raise and you being promoted, still W-2, not 1099. Cool. But y'all, you need to contact your partners here, which is a real estate agent and your lender.
And
The
I will
last
say,
one that I
I
go
prefer
on.
you have whatever conversation. If it's about money, call me. Let's talk about this before you do anything. I mean, I want the person that you call me before they check your credit to turn your lights on to make sure that we are good. I don't want a you thought that. No, you ask me what you need to do or if this is okay, and I will let you know.
And the last one that I have on this list is, and y'all may not understand this because it's a very hard one. So y'all need to take this in. Y'all ready? You might want to write it down. Better yet, just buy the book. Okay. This one right here says, do not, I repeat, do not buy a car while you're under contract. Do not buy a car the day of closing. Do not buy a car the day before closing. Do not buy a car until you get those keys in your hand. Why, Erica? Why? Why you shouldn't add anything to your
Because now
credit?
you have a payment that has to be added into this debt to income ratio which if you were already at your limit, just because you feel like you can afford this $800 car payment, it's like, no, you can't. And so not based on the numbers, because again, the numbers have to make sense.
That's called your DTI,
Right.
debt to income ratio, you guys.
And I'm gonna tell you, your car
ratios
salesman
in school right now.
your car salesman is gonna say, oh yeah, it's not a problem. Go ahead and do this. Unless you want to live in your car, please do not do this.
Don't do it. All right, I think that's it, y'all. We didn't even get the contract, y'all, because somehow we spent 30 minutes talking about pre-approval matters. It's crazy, but it's important because a lot of people do not understand. And the crazy stuff I see in these groups, and this is where I'm about to rewind, because the lady was short $700. Somebody's gonna tell her to take out a line of credit. And again, tell them why they shouldn't take out a line of credit to get that $700 that they are short at closing, please. And it wasn't just one person; it was multiple people. Multiple people telling this lady to take out a line of credit.
No, because then again, your debt to income ratio, and you cannot borrow, you cannot use unsecured funds. So, if you took this out on your house or something like that, or I had a person go get a title loan on their car in order to get their down payment money. Well, that's a secured transaction, and we were able to allow for that within their payments, and they were okay. But that's a conversation we had to have.
Thank you. So look, y'all, talk to your lender. Talk to your lender. I got a story in this book about my client. He was short money in closing. He spoke with his lender. He had to bring like $6,000. By the time he finished talking to his lender, he only had to bring $500 to closing. So it's very important that you have these conversations with your lender. Okay. All right. Nicole, you got something to say, girl?
I was just going to say, make sure that you're having a conversation with the right people. So many times, just because somebody else has bought a house does not mean they are qualified to tell you how to buy yours.
But my cousin said.
Okay.
My daddy said.
Listen, what they do for a living? Unless they are a mortgage lender.
My cousin got her real estate license. She just don't sell real estate.
Again, unless she give you the money, that ain't it. My slogan is helping you pay for your dream home.
But my uncle used to be a lender. He still is a lender.
Okay. Is he lending you the money for this house? Is he lending you the money for this house?
Right. You need to call him.
Then that don't count.
All right, yeah, we gotta go. I'm short on time. Look, y'all, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It was so awesome seeing you guys. Next week we're gonna talk about.
Jessie Lynn, you talking about this book that you got? How they get this book?
Oh yeah, I do have time to say that. Okay. So look, you can go to the name of the book is Home and Credit Recipe, right? Recipe plus journal, right? So you can go to HCRjournal.com to get the book. If you don't want to buy the book, if you don't have the money to buy the book right now, we are giving away a free checklist. In this checklist, you get a little mini journal, you get a little mini home buying checklist, and you also get one free letter on how to dispute your credit. So it's there. And our checklist is not like one of these little generic checklists. You got a nice little checklist, you got a nice little piece of our journal, 1 month worth, and you got a real letter and some real credit tips because we love y'all. Anyway, I gotta go, y'all. I gotta get my door. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. My name is Jessie Lynn. You can reach me at 919-818-9854. Ms. Erica.
Hey, I'm Erica Batts. I'm your mortgage lender. You can reach me at 919-608-7916 or ericabatts.com.
And Miss Nicole.
I'm Nicole Crawford. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Realty, service in the Greensboro Triad area, and I can be reached always on my cell, which is 336-457-3007.
Y'all can reach us in the Clubhouse at www.thehomebuyersclubhouse.com. You can also find us on Facebook in our group and on our page at Homebuyers Clubhouse. You can find us on YouTube at The Homebuyers Clubhouse. We'll talk to you guys later. We hope you have an awesome weekend. Go out and celebrate the holiday. That's my alarm. Gots to go. ITTYL. Goodbye.